when you appeared at the ministerial platform last week, you pointed accusing fingers at the telecom sector as being presently the only sector where workers are facing the challenges of contract staffing and casualization. Why do you think this practice is prevalent in this sector?
No, I did not say so. I said that another area where people are complaining that there are a lot of casualization, outsourcing, and contract staffing going on is both the telecom and banking sector. I use it to, buttress a point that on assumption of office, there were the ministry, was beset with complaints of casualization, contract staffing, and outsourcing in the oil and gas sector. Then I took both steps, to get the stakeholders in the sector to meet, and then we had a technical working group, and with concurrent support from my colleague who is the Minister of Petroleum Resources, we came up with, I issued a guideline regulating contract staffing and outsourcing in the oil and gas sector. So, and then everybody agreed that outsourcing and contract staffing is equally another mitigating area for job creation. But what is wrong is the abuse of such noble intentions of various multinational corporations and even government. So we came up with a model, which is now a guideline issued with the authority of approval of Mr. President. So it came into force May 25th, 2011. Then I have spoken to my colleague in the Minister of Communication Technology, for us to come together and do the same in the telecom sector. And then we will equally extend it to the banking sector. So the intention is to have a guideline that will regulate the outsourcing. And we want Nigeria to be a destination, because once we have a regulated outsourcing system in place, that means that we will equally create jobs. So that is another initiative of government.
But how can the Labour Ministry protect people who work in companies where all kinds of tricks are employed to prevent people from forming unions so that they cannot agitate for their rights?
One other mantra of this administration is the rule of law. The president is a stickler for the observance of the rule of law. And the president insists that the ground norm, which is the 1999 Constitution, must be obeyed. So, and any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, is to the extent of that non-conformity, null and void. So what we've always told the employers of labor is that the labor law, the Labor Act, and the Trade Dispute Act, which are the instant laws that has provisions for unionization and the process of doing it, and which ministry has the overriding powers to insist on it being done. Most companies are obeying it. They are obeying it because even the guideline, which we put in place in the oil and gas sector, insisted on, having a contractors forum, because contractors are third-party employers of labor, and the purpose is to make sure that they have unions who can bargain for the workers so that they will have valid CBS. But bear in mind again that under the Constitution, the 1999 Constitution, one of those rights that are, that are mentioned under the Constitution, you have the right of association. So in as much as we insist on people being properly unionized and the employers making sure that they unionize, the option to be a member is personal. But what I found out is that 99% of Nigerian workers will want to belong to unions, because if they are not in the unions, they might not effectively bargain with their employers. So we insist that unions, in line with the provisions of the Labor Act, must be put in place. And it's working.
Now, on a personal note, you have been a politician since you were in your early 20s. Did you grow up wanting to be a politician? You know, the same way a child says, I want to be a lawyer when I grow up. I want to be a doctor when I grow up.
Well, I come from a family